Um, One of my memories about dance is my grandmother paid for my dance lessons, and she brought me to dance class once a week. We lived out in the country, so she would have to just sit outside and wait. And she did that for probably 10 years. She would bring me to dance, and then she would just wait outside, and then she would bring me back home. And another memory that I have that my grandmother did for me for dance was when I took dance, you didn't order costumes. Your costumes had to be made. So my grandmother made my costumes for me. The dance teacher would have a little drawing of what the costume was supposed to look like, and my grandmother would make the costume. I started taking dance when I was 3 years old from a local dance studio, and I continued all the way through high school. I also took dance at some ballet schools in Baton Rouge, and then I went on to college. I first realized that I wanted to be a dance teacher when I was in high school. I've always taken dance, and I did not really want to have a career as a dancer. I always knew that I wanted to teach dance and not just be a dancer. I always loved dance from the moment that I started, and there was only one time in my life that I just thought about quitting dance, and I was probably about 12 years old, and I had tried out for cheerleader and made the cheerleading team, and it was taking a lot of time. So I thought about quitting dance, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it, and I'm glad that I did. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in Dance and Performing Arts, where I graduated from Southeastern Louisiana University. Well, my first dance studio was in a little small town that I grew up in. I was going to college, and I decided that I wanted to have my own studio while I was going to college. So my daddy and I found this old school building, and we got permission to, if we could fix it up, because it was abandoned, if we could fix it up, we would be able to teach dance in there. So we spent a whole summer working on the building. We had to redo all the windows in it, and this particular building was like an old auditorium, and it had a stage in it, and it was really big, a big spot. So we finally got it all cleaned out and all the windows repaired, and then I had my first class, and my first class of students, for my whole dance studio, I had about 10 students. When I first had my first studio 30 years ago, I had about 6 or 7 students is all that I taught. And then as the years progressed, I got more and more students, but when I first started teaching, I only had about 7 students. I teach approximately 70 students a year on average. I've been teaching dance for over 30 years. I teach ages 3 to adult. I divide my classes up by age and also by experience. I teach ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical, point. Well, my husband Timmy has always helped me in any way that I needed him. He builds all of my props, anything that I need, and he also built my dance studio. I have been in that studio for, I don't even know, 10 years. I think it's been 10 years since I've been there, 10 years. And we bought the property, and he built that dance studio just about single-handedly. So he has been there for me and helped me for just in any way that I needed him to. I remember when Elvis Presley died, and the reason that I remember that so good is because my mom used to tell me a story about when she lived in Texas and she was in high school and Elvis Presley was just starting his band, and it was a country gospel band, and they would travel around to the different towns and sing country and gospel music. And he came to, I can't think of the name of their little group or their band, but they came to their school in DeKalb, Texas, and he sang, and no one really liked him because he didn't sing the rock and roll, he was singing the country and gospel music. And so he asked some girls out, and none of them would go, and he in fact asked my mom out too, but she would not go out with him. And then she was always sorry about that.
Why?
My most memorable recital, I can't really realize which would be my most memorable recital. Maybe some memorable dances, but not just one specific recital that I can remember the most. I first have an idea, and then I pick my music, and then I go to the studio and work to try and fit the movement to the music or to whatever idea that I want to represent. I usually find my inspiration and my ideas through stories that I have read. And after reading a certain story or even a movie and liking the idea, I just kind of make up my own ballet that kind of goes along with the story that I've read. I like to teach tap, and my favorite style to perform would be a lyrical. Let's see, well, my son took tap when he was younger, but he really never liked any type of dance. And I usually persuaded him to take tap. And as he got older, he really started not wanting to take it at all. So one of the last dance recitals that he was in, he said that he would be in the dance recital under one condition, that I did not put his name in the program because he didn't want to be recognized. And then in the year after, I persuaded him one more time to be in the dance recital, and he said that this would be the last one, and the only way that he could do it is if he could wear a mask so that no one could see him. So they actually did their dance in a black light, they painted their hats and their canes and their shoes fluorescent, and then no one knew that he was that tapper. I homeschool my two girls, and I enjoy doing that, and that's pretty much how my day goes, especially when I'm working at during the school year. We get up in the morning and we do our schoolwork, and then I usually cook, and then we go to the dance studio, and then I get home and we eat supper and watch TV, and that's pretty much how our life goes for from September through May. Except the month of May, of course, is a lot more hectic with having to worry about the dance recital, so we put in a lot more hours, and we don't do nearly the amount of schoolwork during that month. I think the most rewarding thing for teaching dance is to watch students that start out as young, almost babies, and to watch them progress and grow and become beautiful dancers and grow up, and to watch that happen. That's the most rewarding thing. I have a tradition for my girls and I for the dance recital. Every year, the three of us try and do a special dance that shows maybe our how much we love dance, how much we enjoy being at the studio. I think that they need to take as many dance classes as they can by as many different teachers as they can, and just expose themselves to any performing arts that is around, and follow your dreams.